So for artificial light, I decided to use pencil for shadowing to demonstrate the shadowing. Again, it's gonna be a quick sketch, and I feel like some part of my tracing is not very correct. The reason being is that again, I don't have light board and it was really tough for me to see through the marker paper. So accept my apologies for few errors that I have, but I'm explaining so you get the idea how the artificial light shadowing will be. So where we are going to consider the artificial shadowing is somewhere in front of your staircase on the ceiling, right? So it will be in the space, it will be somewhere here. So if this is in front of your staircase on the floor, if you go up, it's supposed to be somewhere here, but in the space. So if we have an artificial light here, then the staircase will have a little bit of shadow that I drew a line for that it comes here, breaks into the arches, comes here, breaks into the arch, the second arch, and also goes down. Also the arches, because it has a view to the outside, so it's absolutely dark. And the shadow of each object, because the light is here, it's coming on the back side, like it goes that way, the other way. The whole will have some shadow. And the staircase, this part is darker, this part in the corner will have a little bit of darkness, but the very first steps we have more shadow, darker shadow than the upper side. So if I want to start right now, I will start with darkest, so I will have a sense of how my pressure on my pencil will be demonstrated on the paper. So if I started, let me put a piece of paper beneath my hands. So there are some eraser. Okay. I suggest you using one direction for the shadowing with your pencil. Try to be loose, try to be use your pencil from the middle, not from here. So this is the darkest because this is the absolute darkness of the outside. However, if I want to put values on different shadowing of the object, I should say, for example, as far as the staircase goes, the shadow should be a little bit lighter than the stairs here. So first of all, the corners from my view is darker. And then gradually this inner side of the arch that it takes the shadow of the stair might be a little darker. for the other side of the staircase, oops. Have a little eraser somewhere here. I feel like on the corner it's gonna be darker. Also, the closer it gets to the object, it's gonna be darker too. So I'm trying my best to add the shadow in a way that the effect of my objects on the floor is visible. Not on the floor, on the staircase is visible, sorry. Accept my apologies. The problem that I have is not, sometimes I'm not multitasking very well. So this part is still for the staircase here. Here's darker. Simply change the pressure on my hand. If I want to do the cylinder, light comes here, so probably here is the lightest, and start gradually to be darkest here. As I said before, the place that the object touches floor is the darkest. You can use the cotton or tissue, or I don't know if you have a blender for pencil, to blend the lines for pencil as well. And this is the shadow of the cylinder, the floor. Some part goes up on the wall. Gives a graduation or kind of a spectrums of different shadows, even on the actual shadow on the floor. So if you can add depth by doing that. Like I'm trying to make here more darker, and maybe here in the corner that it touches the wall darker, so you will have a depth of a wall. You'll understand how the wall is supposed to be. Don't use the same value of shadowing everywhere, so it won't be understandable how the space is. by changing the value of shadow, it actually helps audience to understand how's the space. Now for the hole, for example, here is the darkest. Here is actually started with the darkest, coming to the lightest. See, here what happened is that because on the corner typically the shadow is darker, I try to emphasize on that so I won't lose the value of the depth that I gave to the hole. And now, I feel like here. And now for the cube here, this part is in front of the light. This part is absolutely in front of the light, but this part has a shadow, gradually be darker here, and this is the absolute shadow that we have. So let me emphasize here. So always try to start with the dark, lighter shadow, and hypothetically, if you needed to do it darker, you can do it. If you started with lighter shadow. Again, when it touches the floor, it's the darkest. I may add a little bit of shadow here. Not a lot, just here. Because the light comes here, there is a bit, like very slightly, shadow might be here. You may not